people ask me, good listeners, why do I hate all the Tutsi? I say, read our history. The Tutsi were collaborators for the Belgian colonists. They stole our Hutu land. They whipped us. Now they have come back, these Tutsi rebels. They are cockroaches. They are murderers. Rwanda is our Hutu land. We are the majority. They are a minority of traitors and invaders. We will squash their infestation. We will wipe out the RPF rebels. This is RTLM, Hutu Power Radio. Stay alert. Watch your neighbors.
I've got them.
Yeri! Naked! Get down, all of you!
I have them, I've got them!
Traitor! These are Tutsi cockroaches!
Let me explain, sir. Please, wait.
Shoot them. Shoot them.
Please, I don't use guns. I don't.
It's easy.
The previous clip was from the movie Hotel Rwanda, a film documenting the events of a mass genocide in 1994, where over 800,000 people were killed. Were these Tutsi, which were so cruelly slaughtered, entitled the human right to life and freedom? If such rights are dependent upon the collective, then the answer to that question is no. The collective stripped them of their rights, and there would be no basis to defend any right of the Tutsi. If human rights are a subjective quality defined by the collective, then your ideals of an individual's rights to life and freedom is simply the opinion of your society. The decision to kill or release the Tutsi prisoners is subject only to the whims of a Hutu-dominated society. Many will say that the collective is defined by the world's population as a whole, and as such the works of Rwanda's society is thereby defined as violating human rights. But to believe this is to believe that the mass genocide and enslavement performed in man's antiquity, when the world's collective certainly did not define human rights as we do now, were all perfectly moral acts that violated no rights whatsoever. It would be such a belief that would make social progress impossible. Such a belief would make the very idea of progress in relation to human rights completely meaningless, as the subjective ideals of yesterday's society are no better than today's. Our ideals for women's rights, for example, would be different today than they were before, but no better, as their only basis for existence to begin with is defined by the opinions of the collective. But in times of great social change, such as the American Revolution or the Civil War, what is it that people refer to as to justify their claims of equal rights? Do they make the claim that the collective has simply changed their minds? Or do they refer to a truth greater than the rule of law of society and its collective? Such periods of social revolution and enlightenment are championed by great philosophical thinkers, people who discovered truths regarding the rights of man which were completely foreign and unknown to the collective. They caught on and rallied men to their cause, not by some subjective, dim-witted fancy, but because they were recognized as the truth.
Why are we here? How is it that a simple, plain property issue should now find itself so ennobled as to be argued before the Supreme Court of the United States of America? I mean, do we fear the lower courts, which found for us easily, somehow missed the truth? Is that it? Or is it rather our great and consuming fear of civil war that has allowed us to heap symbolism upon a simple case that never asked for it? And now would have us disregard truth, even as it stands before us, tall and proud as a mountain. The truth, in truth, has been driven from this case like a slave. flogged from court to court, wretched and destitute. And not by any great legal acumen on the part of the opposition, I might add, but through the long, powerful arm of the executive office. Yea, this is no mere property case, gentlemen. I put it to you thus: this is the most important case ever come before this court. Because what it in fact concerns is the very nature of man.
The very nature of man is indeed where human rights stem from. They are not some subjective ideal which a collective decides upon. They are a truth which we discover, and as such, society and its collective decides to protect. Our very own Declaration of Independence says it best. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men. The wording is very careful and specific. These rights are something that are a truth, a self-evident truth, and that the purpose of government is to secure these rights, not to define them. Our job as a society and collective is to discover the natural state of mankind, what rights exist therein, and implement a government to secure them. The following clip explains well how the natural state of mankind is freedom. Freedom is a basic human right, despite what any government or collective may think. The collective must recognize this truth and aim their efforts to protect these rights, understanding this belief, instead of the belief that freedom is simply a subjective right we happen to adhere to today, is what drove great minds and great people to create the free society that we cherish today.
Well, gentlemen, I must say I differ with the keen minds of the South, and with our president, who apparently shares their views, offering that the natural state of mankind is instead, and I know this is a controversial idea, is freedom. Is freedom. And the proof is the length to which a man, woman, or child will go to regain it once taken. He will break loose his chains. He will decimate his enemies. He will try and try and try against all odds, against all prejudices, to get home. Yet if the South is right, what are we to do with that embarrassing, annoying document? The Declaration of Independence. What of its conceits? All men created equal, inalienable rights, life, liberty, and so on and so forth. What on earth are we to do this? I have a modest suggestion.